are enough. You are enough. Excellent to navigating the overcoming uniqueness of growth and healing. You are enough. There is power in you. You are enough. Are you ready to use the power that's inside of you? You are enough. Today you know you was always enough. Yes. We had a moment when we didn't have the confidence to be as bold and secure that we are now. You are enough. Yes, we had moments when we settled for that relationship that we weren't supposed to be in because it was toxic or not. Hello, and welcome to The Power in Your Voice. I am your host, Sheena Gadine, better known as the lady behind the mask. And today we have Miss Elizabeth in the building. How are you doing today?
Hi, I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I am well. Can you tell the people who you are and what you do?
Okay, my name is Elizabeth Bradford. I am a survivor of domestic violence. I am a motivational speaker now. I'm an advocate for domestic violence. I try and help others by telling my story so that they can learn the signs and know what it takes to get through domestic violence, because I'm an overcomer as well.
Absolutely. Would you like to share a little of your story? How did you get into walking in your purpose of being an advocate for domestic violence?
Sure. It started around 2000. I had been holding my story for so many years. I held my story actually for 26 years. And in the year of 2000, I was reading Essence magazine, and it said that if you or someone you know have been affected by domestic violence and you have scars and stuff, we have plastic surgeons that can fix you for free. And I was like, I was at my job, and I picked up the phone and I called that number, but I was saying it low on the phone, because all the people that I was working with, they didn't even know what had happened to me. So I called the number, and they finally got back with me a few days later. And when they got back with me, I actually cried, because I was like, oh, somebody really care about domestic violence victims. And they really touched my heart. And from that, they said, excuse me, they said, do you have you ever had counseling? And I said, no. So the lady said, well, first of all, you will have to have counseling, and then we can set you up with a plastic surgeon. So they referred me to a Passaic County Women's Center in Paterson, New Jersey. So I went there and I told my story. And that was actually the first time that I was really telling my story. And she had to fill out the application, and we had to send it back. And then they approved me, and they recommended me to see a plastic surgeon. So I invited the lady from the Passaic County Women's Center to go along with me. So we went to the doctor, and the doctor asked me, what is, what's going on? So basically I told him I had been injured, and I had gotten spinal meningitis twice from the injury. So he said, well, I'll tell you like this, we can do some things for you, but we can't do a lot. We're not going to go inside and moving anything around, because if you survived that surgery was in 1977. So all those years I had lived, without getting that again, thank God. And he said, we can't go in there moving anything around. So then he said, well, we'll get your records from the hospital, and we'll let you know what we can do. And it went on, and I kept calling there. They was like, no, we never got the records from the hospital, whatever. So by that time, I started sharing it with some people in my unit. I was working for the Passaic County Board of Social Services, and I was sharing it with them. And one day I was in the bathroom, and one lady came. She said, Liz, your doctor's on the phone. So I went to the phone and he said, Miss Blanford? I said, yes. And he said, well, I have a B, and a C for you. I said, okay. He said, A is I have a hospital that's going to do it for free. I have an anesthesiologist that's going to do it for free. And the third is, do you know this is domestic violence month? And I was like, I'm just really learning that. And he said, well, I want to let you know that the program was called Face to Face. And he said, I want you to know that Face to Face wants to do an interview on you. They want to do a press release on you. I said, what? I was, huh? So he said, yeah, he said, they want to do a press release on you. So I was like, oh my goodness. So I said, okay. Okay, I'll do that. If they're going to help me like that, sure, I'll do that. I said, but no, I tell them no name and no picture. So that's how I started out doing it that way. I said that doctor that doctor saw a miracle, basically. And he got in touch with those people, and they decided to do a press release on me. So they done that, and the press release was done in his office, and the newspaper picked it up in New Jersey, and it came out. First of all, the hospital, when I had the surgery, that hospital, that women's magazine, that story came out in the magazine. They put Elizabeth, but they didn't put the name, all that kind of stuff, just like I asked. And then the newspaper came out the day after my birthday in 2001. And that newspaper did the article with the doctor picture, and he was talking about a victim of domestic violence who he had did surgery on, how he helped them. And that was me. No name, no picture. So it went on like that for a few years. And then I got to speak in 2004 at the Passaic County Community College with the prosecutor's office. And I did my story I had written in 2004. I did that story. And when I did that speech, the next thing I knew, the prosecutor's office was calling me, oh, Miss Blanford, the Herald News want to do an article on you. So I said, oh, really? So they said, yeah, they want to do an article on you. So I said, well, okay. So they said, but this time they'll come to your house. The lady came to my house and stuff like that. And I was like, ma'am, okay, it's good. I said, but no name, no picture. So she was like, no, ma'am. This time it's going to be a picture and it's going to be a name. So, and she took my picture there and stuff like that. And the interview went well. And the next thing I know, my girlfriend calling me like a few weeks later, girl, you on the front page of the newspaper. It made the front page of the newspaper. So I said, God wants you to tell the story and you try to hide, but no, God wants you to tell it and to get it so he can get his glory, so he can know people can know the whole story, and that he will be recognized in all that. So that's what happened. And the people on my job, they was like, they didn't even know what to say. Some of them didn't know what to say. Right. They was like, because you don't complain, you hold your head up, you work well with people, you didn't live like that. So that's how it started, like that right there. And so that's why I say right now, I didn't choose to be an advocate. God chose me to be an advocate. When they put that picture in there, they also put a picture of that person in there that did this to me. Okay. And he was coming up for parole at that time. And it also said I protested against his release in parole hearings. So he didn't get parole that year. And so after that, it was a lot of more parole hearings. And I actually, went to every one of them. Yeah.
Absolutely. So what are the things you want people to be warned about with red flags in domestic violence and the signs of it?
Okay. Well, I would say in my situation, it started out with a slap. Okay. And I did not know at that time that a slap was domestic violence. But now when I tell my story, I tell people that if he slapped you, he can also kill you. Because that's what happened with me. Every time that he had an open affair, in my face. And every time I would catch him with the lady, the girl, because we was very young then. I was only 18 and 17 and 18 years old when I'm talking about those years. Every time I would catch him with her, he would slap me.
Mm.
Um, and it happened like 4 times. 4 times he slapped me. And the last time he slapped me, I was at my cousin's house. The one that did not survive. And that night on August 16th, 1975, it was myself in my apartment. I had only been living there like 2 weeks. It was myself, my cousin. She had 5 children, and I miss her so dearly.
Mm.
And her friend, they were there, and they did not survive the beating. They did not survive the attack. So fourth time he hit me, the fourth time he hit me, it was at her apartment. And this time when he slapped me, somehow, you fall down,
Mm-hmm.
and he grabbed me by my shirt or whatever it was and dragged me into her bathroom. And she was there, and my uncle was there. And they had to go down the street and tell my mom to come, get him into whatever. So that was a terrible thing. And that was the same year that was in 1975, but it was earlier that year that he done that. I would say that if he slaps you, he can kill you. Um, Also, the cheating. Cheating is another sign that a person, you can never, ever trust a person that's cheating on you. You just can't, because you don't know when they're going to be lying or what they're going to do. So I say cheating and the lying and the slapping, and always watch out what they say, because he told me um, earlier that year, maybe in 75, that if you ever leave me, I'll mess you up so nobody will ever want you. So always believe what they say, because when I left, I forgot all about that. It went in one ear and out the other. I never thought about it again. So always believe what they say. Watch what they say and believe what they say. And I would say, if you're in a kind of relationship like that where a person is putting their hands on you for any reason, I would say I can't tell a person what to do, because some people are in positions where they're stuck in their marriage or in their homes, and they don't want to leave. But if I could really tell a person what to do, I would say run, get out of those relationships, because the life you save might just be your own. Because some people don't make it out of those violent and abusive relationships to tell their stories. So many victims are in their graves right now because they didn't know, and they didn't tell their story if they was being abused. And some people knew they were being abused, and they stayed in those relationships. So I don't suggest staying in those relationships at all. I know that people say that people can change, and maybe they can. I don't know, but I don't suggest staying in those relationships. That's my
Absolutely. What do you feel was your moment when you knew you had to leave? You
well.
that it was over.
hmm Well, I was tired of the cheating. I was tired of crying, and I was tired of him not working. We actually broke up after I had graduated from the school, a secretarial school,
Mm-hmm.
where they paid you to go to school and everything. And I was so proud of myself. I was so proud, and I ended up buying him the clothes to wear to my graduation. So after that, I said to myself, I can't do this anymore, simply because I had some jobs prior to that. And every time he would break my heart with the women's or whatever, I would be so sad that I would have to quit the jobs. See? So I said I wasn't going to do that no more. I want to do this. I got a second chance in life, and I want to make something good of this. I want to be a secretary, and I want to be successful. And you can't go along with me. I have been going to school for 6 and 7 months, and you still hadn't changed and still hadn't done anything. And I keep telling you to get a job. So the reason I left him was that because he was not working, and I got tired of cheating. So instead of him going to get a job, doing being a man, he chose to do this.
Absolutely. I commend you for you being strong to leave, because some people, they don't have the strength to leave or to get out. So I definitely commend you to leave when you did, and to start being an advocate and walking in your purpose. Now, can you tell me about your retreat that you just had this year?
Oh yes. Oh, it was wonderful. This was my first retreat. I am now a leader, a facilitator of a group here in Delaware, and it's the Violent Crimes Women's Support Ministry, but it's awareness and prevention support ministry. So we make people aware of domestic violence, and we give you preventive ways of trying to stay away from those things. So we had that retreat down in Bethany Beach, and it was really great. And I had a couple speakers by Zoom, and they was really wonderful speakers, and myself and a few other ladies that was there, and it was really good. It was really great. My pastor asked me, the lady pastor, Pastor April, she wants me to do it again next year, same time, same place. So it had to be good. But the only thing was that we just left a day earlier because they gave a flood warning
Mm,
there. So, and we was like 1 block away from the ocean.
yeah.
And my daughter came from New Jersey. She was with me, and she had been in 2 floods already. So, she didn't want to do that at all. And I didn't want her to even think about going through stuff like that again. But it was
Absolutely.
wonderful. It was wonderful. It was good.
It sounds like it was. I listen. I'm ready for next year. I'm ready to hear about it and see it and see the pictures and all the etceteras. Because it
Yeah.
sounds like y'all had a great old time.
Yeah.
Now, have you written a book about your story yet, or is it in the plans?
Well, everyone keep telling me to write a book. I never written a book yet. I haven't, but I did do a story. I did write a story, and the name of my story is "He is Able," meaning God is able. So I have done that. I'm updating it right now as we speak, because the years has changed. But it just goes and tells you a little bit about having Um, been attacked. When I woke up, Dr. Deshauna, in that hospital, I didn't know what had happened to me.
Mm,
I didn't know what had happened to me. And I must have woken up after they was taking me from the ICU unit, I would assume, because I had been in a coma for a while. And they woke up, I was getting up, it was coming out the elevator on the gurney. And I'm like looking around, I'm in a hospital. I'm like, what am I doing here? Feel my hair got bandages, but I still don't know what happened.
right.
I didn't know what happened to me. And my mother was coming to visit me and everything. And I was asking for my cousin, and she was like, she's coming, she's coming. But she never came. And I was like, she's coming? Yeah, she's coming. But then my friend that I had met when that happened, I had met someone, and he came in, and he was coming to visit me and stuff like that. And he finally told me that what happened, and it was horrible. I wasn't able to walk or anything like that, because your balance is off when you get serious head injuries like that. And so one day I finally got up and made my way to the bathroom, and I looked in that mirror, and I saw something I had never seen before in my life. And I said to myself, I would never, ever go outside again.
Mm,
Well, here I am 50 years later, standing, and I've been outside. I've been working. I raised 2 children, and I've done great for my life as far as I can do. I did pretty good in life. I worked for 23 years. I retired from the Passaic County Board of Social Services. I am now an advocate, but I promised myself I would never go outside again. I went back to school and everything. God, He done all that for me. Yeah. So I said I would never do it, but I did. Here I am,
Here
50
you
years
are.
later.
Here you are, and still at it.
Yes, yes,
You know, a lot of times our plan is not the plan. He has a different version of the plan. So we can say what we're not going to do, but he already said what's going to happen.
yes. He gave me the strength and the courage to do it. He told me just get up and put a wig on your head and go back to school. And I followed. I followed. I followed.
Absolutely. So,
And
with the story, where can they find it when you finish updating it? How are they able to read the story and get in touch with the story that you've written?
well, I just I really never really thought about that. I have never really thought about it. What do you suggest I do?
Well, I mean, you know, you could do blogs if you could tell parts of the story, or you could honestly put it in a book. It's kind of up to you what you how you want to put the message out for people to hear this story, because I'm sure some people attached to it.
Oh, sure it is. I'm
And there's
sure
some
it is.
people need to hear what you said and what you've been through and how he gave you the glory and how they can get the glory.
Yes, yes. There's several things in there that I would know people would love to hear about because it tells us, it tells a raw story right from the very beginning, like
Right.
how I might, it start out like maybe like how they rushed my body to the ambulance, to the hospital, and I was, broken, wounded, and my flawless face now, all cut up and everything. It starts out like that. But then I tell the story about the spinal meningitis. Now, the spinal meningitis I had twice, right?
Mm. Okay. Can
No,
you tell
no,
people what is that? Because some people might not know.
spinal meningitis is an infection around your brain. You have spinal fluid leaking there, and you have meningitis and you have spinal meningitis. So they did all kind of tests, and they found out meningitis is very contagious.
Mm.
Spinal meningitis is not contagious. So they did all kind of tests. They wouldn't allow people in my room until they found out that I had spinal meningitis. Then they would allow people in. But both of those things can kill you.
Mm.
A lot
Okay.
of people don't survive those things. So it either kills you or paralyzes you.
Mm.
So the second attack that I had, Dr. Dashana, it was 6 months after the first one. And my mother, it always started out with a bad, severe headache. So we went to the emergency room. I remember going to the emergency room, waiting on the doctor, but then I don't remember nothing else. Like to 3 days later or something, then they waking me up in the hospital, asking me my name, the day, and the president and all that. I knew all that, but don't remember those days. But that second attack that I had, somehow I snuck out of that hospital without my mother and everyone seeing me,
Oh, wow.
anybody seeing me. And you're not in your right mind, so I don't
Hmm.
remember this. So they had to like call the police and put an APB out, whatever you call that, looking for a young lady, a girl.
Yeah.
So this man called to the police department and said, there's a girl laying in the alleyway. And they told him where it was at, and they went there and they found me. So that's why I named my story He is Able, meaning God is able, because they didn't have to find me. So
Right.
they're taking me back to the hospital. And this time when I woke up, I had like scrapes on my hand because you could tell that you fell somewhere, but I didn't know.
You didn't know.
Yeah, I didn't know. So the doctor told me, Miss Blanford, you can't have that no more. We have got to locate the leak
Right.
and we have got to fix it. So they did all kind of spinal tests, like with the dye, trying to eject it and find out where it was leaking from, but they could not find it.
Mm.
So we had to go in that surgery just like that. So I went in that morning, and I was a little sad, but I just went in reciting the Psalms 23. The Lord is my shepherd. So that's how I went in that operating room. And when I came out, it took 8.5 hours for that surgery.
Mm.
So that was in 1977. And I have not had it since. And I just thank God for that doctor. And I thank God for God for being God who he is. And the doctor
Absolutely.
said it was the size of a pinhole. Size
Mm.
of a pen.
tell you how you say you got to give him the glory because he does amazing things.
Yes,
So,
yes.
as you went through counseling, what did you feel you learned about yourself why you were in these type of relationships?
I learned about myself. I learned that I was, first of all, I learned that I was young, I was naive, and I didn't know a lot. When I met that person, I was in church.
Mm.
Okay? I wasn't about the streets, and we had just moved from Georgia 6 years before that. So I was a country girl, basically.
Yes, I know
You
all about
understand
the
what I'm
country
saying?
living.
And this was a city slicker, looking good, and stuff like that, whatever. But I was very naive, and I didn't know a lot, and I was very weak at that time. I always cried all the time. I didn't
Mm.
know that I had the strength that I have today. I was very weak then. Cried all the time. Anytime he say, "Oh, he leaving," or what, I cry. Whatever.
Right.
Now, now I realize how strong I am after going through all of that. I found out that I am not a weak person. But yeah, I was in church, and the girls in the neighborhood liked him and everything. And one day his brother came to me, and I liked him too. And brother came to me and said, "Oh, my brother likes you, but and he want to go with you, but he don't want a church girl."
Mm.
So see, I left church
Mm.
and I got with them. So naive, been very naive. I would never do that again under any circumstances. But I was young and naive. I met him when I was 15 years old, and I didn't
Oh,
know nothing.
okay.
Like I said, I had only been in Patterson about 6 years.
Absolutely.
But
How they
yeah,
say we live and we learn.
live when we learn.
You
Yes, yes,
know, everything's a lesson, and things, sometimes we learn the hard way, but
yeah,
we live and we learn. And
yes,
from
yes, yes,
from those lessons, you
yeah,
decided, like, no, this is not where I'm going back to. And
yes.
you
Now you
realize your worth and that you matter.
Yeah. So now I watch things that people do, the things that people say, and
Hmm.
how they treat you. So I watch those kind of things. If a family fights each other, because that's what that family did, they could fight you too.
Right.
And I watch the people that's in my circle. I watch the people that I connect with, because you just have to be careful, because anybody can be anything in this world,
Yeah, they can put
and
a
people can
put a
be,
face on.
yeah, so I'll be very, very careful about those kind of things. And when, even in friendships, if I see something, like that I'm not a part of, or that I don't want to be a part of, I'll just easily back away. Get out of those circumstances immediately if I can, because you have to be careful who you let in your circle, and who you let in your life. You just got to be careful about that kind of stuff.
Absolutely. Do you feel that it changed the way you deal with people?
Well, I could say, I'm going to be honest, and I'm going to say, at first it didn't. At first it didn't. Because the friend that I had met when that happened, we stayed
Hmm.
together like 5 or 6 years after that, and stuff like that. So I didn't get afraid of men. I wasn't like afraid, nothing like that. And I still have friends and stuff like that, and then still live life, partying, having good times in life, normal stuff. But the older you get, the wiser you get. Things done changed so much in
Right.
these 2025 years. It's a lot going on now. So now I'm more watchful and careful. Put it that way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You got to be watchful, careful, and have those barriers because as soon as we see those signs, it's a no
Yeah,
no. You got to go.
yeah. I have barriers now. Yes, I do. I do now. I do. You have to protect yourself and your mind and your heart. I learned that, and I learned that we got to protect our heart and we got to protect our minds.
Absolutely. And the thing about it is it's not just from, dating people, it's from family and friends too.
Yes, yes,
Because in the same token,
yes.
they're not the partners are not the only people that abuse you.
That's exactly. I'm glad you said that because that is so true. So that's why I've learned to even do that with family members because sometimes you have to. It's not always good. I mean, it's not always what you want to do, but
Right.
sometimes you have to do that. And you can love them from a distance. And that's what I've chosen to do, even with family and friends. Yes, ma'am.
Absolutely. So, question for you. What's up next for you? What I know we have the book, we did the podcast. I mean, we have the retreat, we did the podcast, we're advocating. What's next?
I'm just going to continue doing what I'm doing and maybe get that book started. And I'm going to contact you to show me how. And
Absolutely. I'll be
just
honored.
looking forward to, I'm just thankful as well. And let me just say this, I'm so thankful for this platform to speak out on domestic violence again. Um, and I'm just thankful for that. And I want to continue doing that. And I just want to continue helping people. I told my daughter, you can, like on my obituary, you can put down things if you want to, whatever. You can even put down if I worked, the 23 years. You can do all that, but just please don't forget one thing, that I tried to help someone. That's all I want I want on my obituary, about helping domestic violence victims and speaking out for domestic violence. That I want on my obituary
Absolutely. So,
because that's something that take to heart.
absolutely. To the people that might be dealing with it or to someone that might be going through it, what word of advice could you give to them?
Hmm. A word of advice, what I give to them. Domestic violence is a very, very, very sad thing. One act of domestic violence not only lasts for, it can last for generations after generations after generations. That one act of violence, it lasts. Um, it's a very sad thing. And one thing about domestic violence, it has no zip code, it has no color, it has no home. It can happen to anybody. Be careful if you're in a domestic violence relationship. If you have been abused, be very careful. If you can get out, get out. Make yourself a safety plan to get out of those relationships. If you have to call the 1-800 number for domestic violence, you do that. If you have to call a women's shelter, you do that. If you feel like you can't talk to your family members, call those numbers and get some advice, get some help. Just try to get out of them because they usually don't change. Mine started with slapping, 4 slaps, 4 slaps, 5 slaps, and then this brutal attack. Brutal attack. So domestic violence is like a very sad thing. And people might think that it's okay, might think it's cute, might think someone care about you when they do that to you, but they don't. That's not love. That's just not love. I can't put it no other way. It's just not love, and it's not the way you should live. Find your way out quietly, and when you leave, if you leave, and when you leave, don't let them know where you're at. I didn't tell that person where I had moved at, but maybe he went to my mom's house or someone, and they probably told him. If I was thinking, if I had any kind of fear of him when I left, I would have told them, please don't tell him where I'm at. You understand? So don't tell him, don't let him know where you're at, and let your people know. Don't tell him where you're at because you don't want him to find you. Because leaving is actually the most dangerous part of a relationship. getting out. It's very dangerous now. We see that all the time, and people go get restraining orders and things like that, and the men still come back and do kill them or do horrible things. It's a very, very terrible thing to go through. I would have never dreamed in a million years that would have happened to me and my family, my cousin and my friend. I would have never dreamed of anything like that happening to me. I had no fear of anyone ever bothering me or attacking me. I just had no idea. Had no idea.
After going through that, what triggers do you think you deal with?
Yelling, house fights, someone arguing in the house. I gotta go. I can't take those kind of things. I'm very afraid of that. Yeah, that's the most triggering. Arguments, yelling, people getting physical with each other. Those are my triggers.
During counseling, what did you learn? Like, besides leaving, is there any other tools that you have that you could give someone that might be dealing with triggers?
Dealing with triggers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about that one. I would just say, like, when I deal with triggers, because you can deal with triggers like through a dream as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, so yeah, that can happen too. A dream, or sometimes just a thought of that can be a trigger as well. That I deal with too. So I just sometimes I could catch myself deep in it. But what I've learned to do is sometimes I just get up off the bed or a chair, whatever, just shake myself, just shake it off. Really just shake myself till it comes off me, because you don't want to go too deep in it. So if I have a trigger, I usually do some breathing exercises, and I'll do the shaking mode. I'll shake it off, because sometimes it really, really get into your brain, and it won't stay there.
Absolutely.
You don't want it to stay there.
Absolutely. Is there any last words or anything you would like to share to the people that are watching or will watch later?
Well, just want to say, be careful. Watch all the signs of domestic violence. They come in all shapes, forms, and fashion, and they come looking so well and so good. But if you see any red signs, and if a person shows you something once, believe it right then and there. That's the type of person they are. I've learned that. Whatever they show you that first time, watch that, because that's a red flag right there. Don't continue going through with it. Don't overlook those red flags. Be mindful of them and go ahead and step.
Absolutely.
Not out the situation, because those are red flags right there that I know that for a fact that I overlooked in a lot of relationships. I overlooked in some things in some other relationships. But now I've learned that no, when a person shows you who they are that first time, believe that that's who they are. So, yeah.
Absolutely. Would you like to share the resources for people one more time, the 1-800 number, and where else they can go for help?
Okay. The 1-800 number to the domestic violence.
Mm-hmm.
The domestic violence number is 1-800-799-SAFE, SAFE. And if you give me a moment, I can go look for something.
Sure.
Okay. Let me. I'm gonna try and find that face-to-face information for you. Hold on. Thank you.
We'll take a break while she is going to look for that, guys. Did you find it?
Yes, I have
All right.
face to face. Here's the face to face information, and it's called Face to Face, the National Domestic Violence Project. The phone number for that is 1-800-842-4546. That's the program that changed my life. And also, here is that newspaper article,
Mm-hmm.
2004. That's me making a statement. Assault victim finally able to tell her story to help others. Patterson resident Elizabeth Blanford, I was 47 when this story came out, was left for dead 29 years ago when an ex-boyfriend beat her with a pipe. It has taken her 25 years to share her story, but now she's a victim's right advocate. Okay? And they had his little picture there. Okay? So that's that. That was for that story there. I believe I sent you that newspaper article.
You did, and it was amazing. It was an amazing article, and I'm very proud of you for
Yeah.
speaking out and using your voice and being an advocate.
And this was my story. I'm still updating it though. He is able, meaning God is able. And this was some of the stuff that I had accomplished in my life, and I stopped years ago from doing it, but I did that. And my story is He is able, meaning God is able. So that was some of my story. Um,
Amazing.
I also did a I joined a group called the Promise Outreach Ministry
Mm-hmm.
in 2005. I spoke at the Hudson County Detention Center on domestic violence. The Promise Outreach Ministry, we actually went into the detention center to speak with inmates. So I actually got a chance to go into a prison system and speak to people. So
Nice. Do you still go to the prison system, or that was just at that time?
no, I did it for about 4 years. I did it for some couple years, 4 years maybe, but I stopped and I stopped. I stopped. Actually, I stopped when that person was coming back up for parole again. And like I said, I didn't tell my story, so the people, some of the people that we was, going in with, the team, some of them felt like they felt sorry for a lot of those inmates, and they was like, oh, they don't need to be there, this and that. So I was like to myself, you really, we really don't know these people.
Right.
You just come down here, you don't really know these inmates to say this and that. So I just decided to stop.
Understand.
But one time I was there, Valentine's Day, and they had like a riot. It was a shutdown, and we was in there. It was crazy, but we made it out of there safely.
Amen. Thank the Lord for that. Can you tell people?
The last person I spoke to down there,
Mm-hmm.
and that was another reason why I don't know. I guess that was it for God. Was God this? I guess that's what I was looking for, and God showed it to me. Was a young man there that had murdered someone. Him and his mother had murdered someone, and I actually got to talk to a murderer. So that was it. I guess that was it. That's all what I've been looking for. I guess I don't know. I don't
That
even know if
was
I even got to get the volunteer for that. My hands just start picking up the phone. To
right.
volunteer for it.
How they say sometimes things are for a season, and maybe you had already did what you needed to do there for that
Yeah,
moment, in
yeah.
that season.
But it was good though. It was good to go there to speak to the inmates, and
Mm-hmm.
it was really good. It was a good eye-opening experience.
Absolutely.
I
Can you tell the people how to connect with you if they want you to come speak or give, do your retreat or any of those things?
Sure. We're trying to expand that retreat next year. We are looking for more women to come out and join us. My name is Elizabeth Blanford. My email, I could give you, I guess, what give my email
Yeah,
address.
you can give me your email.
Elizabeth Blanford 204 at gmail.com. You can contact me that way, or you can get in touch with Dr. Deshauna, and she can get in touch with me as well. That's another means that we can go. That's about all I have, I believe.
That is well. That is well. I thank you again, Elizabeth, for sharing your story. I thank you again for being an advocate, and I thank you again for knowing what your voice have power and that that you matter. So I want to continue to thank you and let you know I'm proud of you for taking that step,
Thank you
setting
so
your
much.
boundaries,
Thank
and
you so much.
being that advocate for the people that no longer can speak for themselves anymore.
Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes. Oh yes.
So again, I thank you for coming. I thank
Thank
you for
you.
being here. I want to thank everybody that is tuning in now or later. I have been Sheena Godine, known as the lady behind the mask. You can find me at Dr. Sheena on Facebook. You can find me at Instagram is Lady Behind the Mask 22, or you can find me on my website, www.sheenaunmastingmotivation.com. If you're looking to be on the podcast, all you have to do is email me or inbox me. My email is sgodine16 at gmail.com. If you don't know how to spell it, is SGOURDINE 16 at gmail.com. Thank you, and y'all have a blessed night.
Yes.